It's Oktoberfest time in La Crosse, and now we bring you the Mrs. Oktoberfest reception. Goodbye to the 2012 Mrs. O, and hello to the new Mrs. Oktoberfest. Tonight's program is brought to you by Interior Designs in Holman, by Ace of La Crosse and Ace Sportsland in the Shelby Mall, and by Mayo Health Systems, and by Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in downtown La Crosse.
Welcome to our 2013 Mrs. O celebration. We good? Okay. Well, we're going to get started here as you finish taking your seats. Feel free to start eating your salads. And the folks here are anxious to serve your food, so they want us to get going here. But on behalf of La Crosse Festivals and all of our former Mrs. Oktoberfest, I welcome you to our 45th year of our Mrs. Oktoberfest reception and coronation. 45th year. We are sponsored tonight by Mayo Health Systems, so thank you to Mayo for once again supporting us this evening. My name is Jennifer Livingston. I will be your MC for this evening, and thank you for having me back. I'm very excited to be back again with you this evening. At this time, I am pleased to introduce you to the women of our community who have truly made a difference. I'd like to welcome your hosts for the evening, all of your past Mrs. Oktoberfests. They have dedicated their time and their talents to the Oktoberfest organization and the La Crosse area. You're going to find their names and their respective years of service listed in the program at your tables. And you've seen the video, hopefully, the highlight video here during the reception that was provided by Board of Director Angie Conan with some input from Sharon Imes, our Mrs. Oktoberfest 2004. So at this time, please join me in thanking and recognizing our Mrs. Oktoberfest group. Will you all your Mrs. Oktoberfest stand and be recognized? So on behalf of La Crosse Festivals, I thank each and every one of you for your continued work in our community and your participation in our festival activities. Your commitment is greatly appreciated by your trustees and fellow Oktoberfest friends and family. So thank you, Mrs. O's, for all of the work that you do each and every year in our community. At this time, we would like to recognize and introduce you to our La Crosse Festival Board of Trustees, all of our past Festmasters who, along with their Fraus, make La Crosse Oktoberfest really the best that it can be. Would all of our past Festmasters and Fraus who are present this evening please stand and be recognized right now? And our 2013 Festmaster will be announced on Friday evening at the Festmasters Ball. So, Brad, you've got a few more days to live it up. A few more days. Of course, of course, the Mrs. O's have a deep appreciation for the Oktoberfest Grenadier Corps. This lively group of Grenadiers, Grenadiers. There we go. All right. They're not always on cue, but they're lively. They're responsible for escorting the members of the royal family to various Oktoberfest functions, not only during Fest Week, but throughout the year. They are also responsible for me wearing a dirndl this year, so Grenadiers, woo! So all of our Grenadiers who are here, please stand and be recognized right now. The Board of Directors is comprised of a dedicated group of individuals who give generously of their time year-round to plan and execute all of the Oktoberfest activities that take place in these days that we're about to celebrate. And at this time, I am pleased to introduce to you the president of La Crosse Festivals, Camlin Roswell.
Thank you all for joining us this evening, and I'm sure you're excited to find out who our new Mrs. O is going to be tonight. I'd like to thank all of you who have helped put this event on. Oktoberfest would not be what it is without the volunteers that work throughout the year to make this happen, leading up to Saturday, our big parade. I'd also like to thank our board of directors. Everyone on our board volunteers their time, their effort, and their passion for Oktoberfest. So, board of directors, if you would please stand and be acknowledged. And once again, I'd like to thank Angie Cohen for putting on this wonderful event. This is one of her board of director committees, and she worked hard to put this together this evening for you tonight. So thank you and enjoy.
All right, thank you, Camlin, and we wish you and your fellow board members the best of luck and, as always, the best of weather during our celebration. We're really hoping for Saturday. The role of Mrs. Oktoberfest was established in 1968 to complete the royal family. Mrs. Oktoberfest is chosen by her community. Nominations are sought and selection process is completed, and she is chosen on the basis of her dedication to family, her personal achievements, and her dedication to civic and community service. But the most important criteria in her selection is her ability to represent La Crosse Oktoberfest at hundreds of events and appearances throughout the year, hundreds. And at this time, I'm pleased to talk a little bit about our 2012 Mrs. O, Julie Bartels. Julie's year is fast drawing to a close, and we all know the wonderful work that she has done in this community, but if you are not familiar, I'm going to share the words of a couple of people I had the chance to speak with. First, our Festmaster, Brad Sturm. Brad says, within the royal family, when Mrs. O's name is spoken, the first comment is typically, "Where's Julie?" Just as Waldo was an elusive guy to find in those puzzles we all remember, occasionally so was Julie. The usual reason she was temporarily not to be found was because she had gotten engaged in conversation with someone that she had just met seconds before. Julie is a social animal and is at her best when given an opportunity to make a new friend. People are drawn to Julie because of her smile, because of her warmth, and her ability to be sincerely in the moment with whoever she may be talking to. If you want your mood to be lifted, spend a few minutes with our Mrs. O. The spirit of Gemütlichkeit runs strong in Julie Bartels. One other person I got the chance to speak with about you, and this is from a Miss Tiana Vanderhei. And Tia says, after spending a year with your royal family, you truly grasp a sense of who they are as a person. Julie has been an absolute blessing and a pleasure to be around. She is high-spirited, extremely social. There's a theme here. She loves children. She quickly takes up any chance she has to be around her granddaughter or any baby for that matter. We would be in the midst of a parade, and the one thing I would hear from Julie is, "Aw, look at that little one," or "Your baby is beautiful." She has a true heart of gold and lives life to the fullest by enjoying every single moment. Due to her yearning to constantly make new friends, we did lose her a bit in Canada as she wandered off. However, with this keen social skills comes the ability to connect with individuals of all ages in a short time frame and make them feel like they have known her for years. She is wonderful, spirited, and deeply caring, and I am so thankful to have her in my life. So with that, I would like to welcome to the stage the wonderful and amazing 2012 Mrs. Oktoberfest, Julie Bartels.
If you enjoy a good cup of coffee, you're gonna love Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in La Crosse. They take coffee really seriously. They run the water through 6 filters before they make it into coffee, espresso, lattes, or cappuccinos. Colombian, Sumatran, Mexican, the best free trade coffee available and roasted right on the premise. Now, if you like something sweet with your coffee, like coffee cake, cinnamon roll, or scone, then you'll really love Cabin Coffee. How about a breakfast sandwich or lunch? You'll find it at Cabin Coffee in a relaxing, friendly atmosphere. Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in downtown La Crosse.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
Well, I was very nearsighted. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me without things being blurry, so I had to wear glasses.
We screen patients. We try to make sure that they're appropriate candidates for LASIK, that their prescription is within the range, that it's reasonable to do it, that they have a good understanding of what they can expect, that they have a good understanding of what the benefits are and what the risks are.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
So I'm looking for a purple, but not like the purple, but more like a purple. Know what I mean?
Yeah. You want the color, but you don't want to be smothered by it. You want something you could live with for a long time.
Find your soul paint at Ace with Clark & Kensington Paint and Primer in one.
Find your soul paint at Ace of La Crosse in the Shelby Mall. Clark & Kensington interior flat paint and primer, just $25.99 a gallon at Ace of La Crosse.
At Ace, the helpful place.
Take advantage of Mohawk's anniversary sale going on now at Interior Designs. Save on Mohawk Armor Max hardwood. It's easy to maintain by repelling dirt and dust and comes with a 50-year warranty. Plus, get up to $500 on a Consumer American Express reward card.
Now you're about to hear from this animal. Thank you for that kind introduction, Tia, Brad. Those comments are I said I wasn't going to cry. I'm not going to, because this is truly a bittersweet moment for me. I want the new Mrs. O to experience everything that I have experienced, and I can't wait to introduce you to her tonight. But first, I'd like to thank that Ms. Jennifer Livingston. She is an outstanding Mrs. of Ceremonies, and I love her dearly. Thank you. She looks good in that dirndl, don't you think? I believe I'm more humbled tonight than I was a year ago on this stage. As I've reflected back on this fleeting year, I've come to appreciate just what an awesome opportunity you've blessed me with by allowing me to serve in this role. That being said, I am also very aware that none of you are here tonight to listen to a rambling, old, outgoing Mrs. O, and instead are anxious to welcome and meet the new 2013 Mrs. O. So I will keep my remarks as brief as possible and share just a little story with you tonight from my perspective looking back. My journey as Mrs. Oktoberfest has truly felt like a good read from a book, maybe more like a fairy tale. Like any good story, it was packed with a little bit of everything: action, adventure, humor, mystery, suspense, wild rides, dining, dancing, a whole lot of love, and just a few Ein Prosits thrown in there for good measure. It was the kind of read that was so good that it was very difficult to put it down as we donned our battle gear each week and marched through a new chapter that took us to new towns, new people, and created very precious and treasured memories. It's a kind of story that will stay with this Mrs. O for my lifetime to come, with a great sense of joy and appreciation right up to and through this final chapter. Many books start out with a dedication or an acknowledgement and a preface. My dedication and acknowledgement relate to my Mrs. O platform of roots and relationships. There's nothing more important to me than faith, family, and friends. And I dedicate the following story, along with my heartfelt thanks, to the Greater Fest family that Mr. O and I are now blessed to be a part of. The preface to this story is simply to state that each royal family member may have their own version or twist on the fairy tale that you're about to hear. My special tale was certainly laced with plenty of great characters. And when I say characters, I really mean characters. So let me share with you tonight my abridged version of the 2012 Mrs. Oktoberfest fairy tale. Once upon a time, a long time ago, actually just a year ago, in a land not so far away, just right where you're sitting tonight, a very fortunate and perhaps to some a seemingly haphazard group of commoners magically became a royal family to reign for a whole year in the great kingdom of Oktoberfest. The kingdom had been formed 52 years prior by wonderful and generous community leaders and visionaries who knew just how special this land was to live and work in, and what a wonderful place it would be to celebrate the history, the culture, the beauty of their people and of their land. As the kingdom and its grand festival became more and more popular with people partaking from throughout the country and beyond, so did the need of plenty of royal helpers to keep this kingdom in order. The royal staff included an illustrious group of trustees, a dedicated board of directors, a distinguished group of Mrs. O's, a royal grenadier corps, royal float drivers, royal office staffers, and a royal groundskeeper, all to help keep the land beautiful and magical, along with hundreds of volunteers, generous businesses, volunteers and donors, all from this great land. Mrs. O was also blessed by two helpers, Barbara Larson and Carla Stanek, who happened to be her mentors and answered many, many questions over the course of the year. All of these people served tirelessly as resources and ambassadors to all the people of the land to keep the great kingdom a beautiful, magical place. And they were especially warm and welcoming to this new 2012 royal family by surrounding them with love, support in this prestigious kingdom called Oktoberfest. Now, this group of commoners who magically became royalty was made up of a dashing and well-respected local banker who could often be seen mingling around the crowd, sporting his fine white feather plume and carrying a well-protected yet still occasionally stolen King Gamby. Festmaster Brad, as he was fondly known, was a kind, wonderful, and generous leader, except for a few small faux pas that should be stated for the royal records. Early on in his reign, he tended to forget to introduce his lovely Frau Lynn, who was especially adored by the royal family, as she often treated them to scrumptious meals, drinks, and was always the perfect hostess. So poor Festmaster Brad could often be heard singing the familiar old tune, "I'm working my way back to you, babe." Additionally, he occasionally misjudged just how tall he had become as the royal Festmaster with the height of that fine feather atop his royal head, and was almost deplumed at a recent event by a ceiling fan as he climbed high to lead a rousing and memorable Ein Prosit. The family was also blessed with an ooh-la-la fair princess of the land, Princess Tia, who had beautiful long red locks, sparkling eyes, a bright smile, and was an exquisite dancer. She also went on to become a finalist in our state pageant. At a royal pie auction, she was almost tossed in as part of the Oktoberfest Kingdom pie package to the highest bidder by our overly zealous Festmaster. To his credit, the pie package did bring in $1,100 for the YWCA. The Mrs. Oktoberfest selected to be part of this great family was the tallest woman in all of the land. Yet somehow she managed to get lost on occasion while talking among the crowds. There was also a Mr. O, who somewhere along the reign fondly became the son that the Festmaster Brad never had. This Mr. O was also spotted on one occasion in the wee morning hours in Canada, twirling a formerly well-respected past Grenadier General out on the dance floor to some kind of a Canadian polka. The family was also blessed to have a young royal boy named Master Eric, who sparked energy in all through his bright smile, his thumbs up, his high five approvals, a game of tag, or shaking a mean booty. Master Eric's mother and father, Marlis and Kevin, were every bit a part of the royalty, so that when Marlis celebrated her birthday following the royal pie auction at a cozy little establishment known for serving fine refreshments, the royal family happily joined in the gaiety, now fondly recall the memories of that evening. At least some may recall the fond times of that evening. There were 2 parade marshals in this royal family, a distinguished, kind, and gentle man named Sir Ed, along with his lovely wife, Jean, who led the biggest parade in all the land. And then there was another parade marshal, Queen Jane, who tended to get all lit up and even encouraged small children at area schools to do the same when they joined her at the torchlight parade. Her quiet and loving husband, Jim, who needed a little coaxing to come out of his shell, was also seen on at least one occasion on a dance floor in Canada with a smile on his face, as if having a good time. Rumor has it that there might have been a local drink called Caribou involved. Last but not least, the Grenadier Generals Extraordinaire, Wade, AKA Sir Ziggy Zaggy, and Mighty Mel, who completed this royal family. They worked tirelessly throughout the year to try and keep the royal family in order, and worked diligently with the Royal Grenadier Corps to ensure all the needs of the royal family were met. They did their jobs splendidly, and this royal family was ever so grateful to their General Grenadiers and Corps for making this year a royal blast. Rumor has spread throughout the land that Mrs. O has selected herself to be an adoptive grandmother to all the Grenadiers' children. Look for her in the next fairy tale coming soon, entitled The Old Woman Who Lived in a Shoe. The 2012 royal family began their year like most royal families before them, all of them knowing that it would be quite a journey, but not really understanding all that was in store for them. Little did they know they needed to hang on tight as they were in for the ride of their lives. In the beginning of their reign, the land was blessed by perfect weather, and over 150,000 people came to join in the fun of another year in the kingdom. The royal family made almost 80 visits in the first couple weeks of their reign to meet and greet the people of the land, from school children to the elderly. They were escorted by the legendary Royal Grenadiers and serenaded by the most famous musicians in all the kingdom, Crazy George and Crazy Mark, while always accompanied and supported by Crazy George's wife, Joyce. The local media was kind and good to the royal family as they highlighted their activities and, more importantly, showed the true spirit in which these royal ambassadors, past and present, sought to spread Gemütlichkeit throughout the land. The family enjoyed wild adventures, adventurous rides that included head-on crashes in bumper cars, speedy drops down ice-covered toboggan luges, a call of the wild down the big carnival slides, and even a few icy root beer and cinnamon schnapps shots, tasting those refreshments down a mini ice luge in Minnesota. The new royal family encountered suspense and mystery in Canada as they wondered, where is Mrs. O? Is she lost forever in the frozen tundra of the Festival de Voyageur, never to be found again? But alas, the vigorous Vulcan crew rescued the fair old maiden and bussed her back from the fort after she was abandoned by her royal family. Even though To this day, they claim they were really trying to find her. The fair old maiden redeemed herself later by becoming the Women's International Leg Wrestling champion, flipping a challenger named Bad Kitty from Winnipeg in the 5th and final round of the Voyager Games. Mrs. O's long legs finally came in handy for something. Upon leaving Winnipeg, the royal wheels were turned back to Fort Garry Hotel due to a winter closing of all roads leading home to their beloved royal land. With blowing snow and 40 below wind chill temperatures, another night was spent in the warm hospitality of the Canadian hosts. This royal family loved to dance with all people of the land, whether it be leaving their perches upon the royal float to enjoy a breathtaking, literally, polka along the parade route, swinging and spinning a resident in the wheelchair while singing the tune, Let Me Call You Sweetheart, or choosing a teacher at a local schoolhouse. Each dance warmed their hearts. The tears and smiles from residents and students alike told them that this was important work that needed to be done to make connections with people in the kingdom. There was one particular dance, however, that the gentlemen from the kingdom, donned in their lederhosen, joined together in New Ulm to form a knock-kneed chorus line. The Rockettes have nothing to fear from that illustrious clan. Although the parade season was wet and rainy the first 2 months and dry and hot the next 2 months, it never dampened any spirits nor melted any good times had by this royal family. Instead, they continued to grow as a family to really love, respect, and appreciate one another in their various roles to promote their fine kingdom and all that it had to offer. The royal float and its entourage even won at least 3 known first place recognitions during the parade season. As the royal family's year rapidly came to a close, there were many past royalty grinning slyly as they reminded the royal family of what's to come next. It was rumored throughout the land that this magical family would somehow turn to pond scum, following their royal family. But not so in this fairy tale ending. Rather, they all went on to live happily ever after with fond and treasured memories as they continued to be good ambassadors for the Oktoberfest kingdom. Perhaps the moral of this story is scum are and scum are not. Dankeschön. Will the 2012 Royal Family characters please join me on stage? I'm just going to go down the line here and tell you who all is up here so you know the characters in this fine fairy tale. We have Jim, the dancer on the floor in October, in Canada, I should say. We have his Queen Jane, the Torchlight Parade Marshals. We have Sir Ed and his wife Jean, the Maple Leaf Parade Marshals. We have my partner in life, my husband, Mr. O, Terry Bartles, and we have our Festmaster Brad, who may not talk to me after this, and his good, lovely wife, Frau Lynn. And we have Princess Tia Vanderhei, our Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest. And we have our Grenadier Generals Extraordinaire, Mel and Wade Pollock, and the best ziggy-zaggy guy you'll ever in your life hear. And then we have our special fester, Master Eric, and his mother and father, Kevin and Marlis. Thank you all.
Well, I have two things to say. One is most everything that Julie said was true. I wish the names would have been changed, but they weren't. So if we could just keep it amongst ourselves, that would be fine. And the other is there is magic in Oktoberfest. Remember that. So as a royal family, we are incredibly blessed for all of the members of the family. But tonight, we are most incredibly blessed to recognize our Mrs. O, Julie Bartles, and her Mr. Terry. And if you would all join me, we have a blessing. We only know one blessing, but we have a toast, if you will. If you would join me for our Mrs. O, for all past, all future, and all present Mrs. O, we toast. Ein Prosit, ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. Eins, zwei, drei, super! Hoi, hoi, hoi! Hoi, hoi, hoi! Prost! Thank you.
Take advantage of Mohawk's anniversary sale going on now at Interior Designs. Save on Mohawk Armor Max hardwood. It's easy to maintain by repelling dirt and dust and comes with a 50-year warranty. Plus, get up to $500 on a Consumer American Express reward card.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
I can see. I don't have to wear my glasses for driving, to go to the movies, for reading.
And I think it's a wonderful thing to offer people that freedom and independence of lenses, whether they're contact lenses or glasses, to be able to function every day from the morning to the evening and not think about it.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
So I'm looking for a purple, but not like the purple, but more like a purple. Know what I mean?
Yeah. You want the color, but you don't want to be smothered by it. You want something you could live with for a long time.
Find your soul paint at Ace with Clark & Kensington Paint and Primer in one.
Find your soul paint at Ace of La Crosse in the Shelby Mall. Clark & Kensington interior flat paint and primer, just $25.99 a gallon at Ace of La Crosse.
At Ace, the helpful place.
If you enjoy a good cup of coffee, you're going to love Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in La Crosse. They take coffee really seriously. They run the water through 6 filters before they make it into coffee, espresso, lattes, or cappuccinos. Colombian, Sumatran, Mexican, the best free trade coffee available and roasted right on the premise. Now, if you like something sweet with your coffee, like coffee cake, cinnamon roll, or scone, then you'll really love Cabin Coffee. How about a breakfast sandwich or lunch? You'll find it at Cabin Coffee in a relaxing, friendly atmosphere. Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in downtown La Crosse.
Continuing on, now what you really are here for. During the final week, as the royal family had the good opportunity to welcome 4 of its newest members to the 2013 royal family, last Wednesday the parade marshals were announced. Jean Thompson leading the Maple Leaf Parade with her husband Tom, Patty Loken leading the Torchlight Parade with her husband Jeff. On Saturday, Krista Beam joined the Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest group as Miss Lacrosse Oktoberfest. And then on Sunday, following the Applefest Parade, we were delighted to meet our special fester, Connor Ellis. Congratulations to all of them. On Friday, and if they could stand, please, if you're in the crowd, please stand. Those are the newest members of our 2013 family. And on Friday, we'll be introduced to our new Festmaster. However, tonight, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the newest member of our royal family, the 2013 Mrs. Oktoberfest. Now, I don't want you to groan when you hear that we have another Mrs. O who has roots in Iowa. But she has roots in Iowa. She's lived in Sioux City, Iowa twice and attended the University of Iowa in Iowa City, where she met her husband on a blind date. She has 2 sons and 2 grandchildren and tries to spread her time between family in Chicago and in Minneapolis. She has served as a board member, president, and interim executive director of the YWCA, as well as on the boards for the American Heart Association, Girl Scouts, Cooley Region Kiwanis, and the Riverland chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. She was the first president of the Rotary Works Foundation and worked as a fundraiser for Viterbo University for 14 years. She was assistant chancellor for advancement and external relations and president of the UWL Foundation from 2001 until her retirement in 2007. Since then, she has helped many area nonprofits raise millions of dollars, including the $7.8 million campaign that gave us the Weber Performing Arts Center. Mrs. O has celebrated La Crosse Oktoberfest for over 30 years along the Maple Leaf Parade route with her family and friends. This year, she'll be waving from the royal family float. Please give a warm and rousing Oktoberfest welcome to our newest Mrs. Oktoberfest, Kenna Christians.
If you enjoy a good cup of coffee, you're going to love Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in La Crosse. They take coffee really seriously. They run the water through 6 filters before they make it into coffee, espresso, lattes, or cappuccinos. Colombian, Sumatran, Mexican, the best free trade coffee available and roasted right on the premise. Now, if you like something sweet with your coffee, like coffee cake, cinnamon roll, or scone, then you'll really love Cabin Coffee. How about a breakfast sandwich or lunch? You'll find it at Cabin Coffee in a relaxing, friendly atmosphere. Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in downtown La Crosse.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
Well, I was very nearsighted. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me without things being blurry, so I had to wear glasses.
We screen patients. We try to make sure that they're appropriate candidates for LASIK, that their prescription is within the range, that it's reasonable to do it, that they have a good understanding of what they can expect, that they have a good understanding of what the benefits are and what the risks are.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
So I'm looking for a purple, but not like the purple, but more like a purple. Know what I mean?
Yeah. You want the color, but you don't want to be smothered by it. You want something you could live with for a long time.
Find your soul paint at Ace with Clark and Kensington Paint and Primer in one.
Find your soul paint at Ace of La Crosse in the Shelby Mall. Clark and Kensington interior flat paint and primer, just $25.99 a gallon at Ace of La Crosse.
At Ace, the helpful place.
Take advantage of Mohawk's anniversary sale going on now at Interior Designs. Save on Mohawk Armor Max hardwood. It's easy to maintain by repelling dirt and dust and comes with a 50-year warranty. Plus, get up to $500 on a Consumer American Express reward card.
You can see my notes. Well, first of all, I'm so glad to see all of you here. This is a very large group. Thank you so much for coming. Several months ago, my very good friend Janie Spencer asked me if she could nominate me for Mrs. Oktoberfest. And I thought about it for a while, went home and asked my husband what he thought. And we decided that we've always enjoyed Oktoberfest, so why not give it a shot? Well, I kind of forgot, or didn't really forget, but it just kind of went to the back. And about in May, I got a phone call from Flo Alish asking me, she said she and Mike were going to redo their basement, and they had seen our pinball machine, and they wanted to come over and take a look at the pinball machine. I thought, well, okay, that's fine. So we were looking for a date, and the only date that really worked happened to be my birthday. So I said we didn't have any real big plans, so sure, come on over. Well, they got there, and along with them was Carla and John Stanek. And I thought, well, this is strange. Maybe they're going to buy a pinball machine, too. I didn't know. So anyway, in comes Flo. She's got a pizza and a birthday card, and Carla comes in with a bag of who knows what. And we're standing there talking, and finally Carla says to me, aren't you going to open that card? Well, okay, I'll open the card. Well, it was a birthday card. And it said, Happy birthday, Kenna, Mrs. Oktoberfest 2013. And that was the beginning of the ride. I will tell you that planning this is kind of like planning a wedding, because you have to buy dresses, and you have to buy other clothes, and you have to get your invitation list, and you've got all these things that you have to do in a very compact period of time. And so it's been a great ride, and we're really looking forward to this next year and being a part of the Oktoberfest family. We know so many of them already that this is just going to be something really special for us. The theme for this year's Oktoberfest is celebrating generations, and I thought, that's really a perfect one for me. I was born in Tucson, Arizona. My dad was an Air Force bomber pilot. He was stationed there. And when he finished his tour of duty, they came back to Sioux City, where my parents were both from. And we moved in with my grandmother. And so I had my mom and my dad and my grandmother as part of my life from the time I was an infant till we moved when I was 5. And I thought every little girl had their grandma there, but it was very special. She would get up in the morning, and I would hear her get up to go to work, and so I'd get up with her, and I'd sit on her lap, and she'd cut her jelly toast into quarters and give me one of them. And so that was a very special relationship with her. At the age of 5, my dad was transferred to Mitchell, South Dakota. I lived there till I was 16, moved back to Sioux City, finished my last 2 years of high school, went to the University of Iowa. Woohoo! There's got to be some Iowa people out there somewhere. Went to the University of Iowa, and then went to Davenport to work for a year before Raj and I got married. Well, he was in the Navy nuclear submarine program when we got married, and so we continued to move. We lived in California, Idaho, Connecticut, South Carolina, and Hawaii. So by the time we moved here, and when I was in my middle 20s, I had lived so many places that, quite honestly, I felt like I was from everywhere and yet really from nowhere, because I didn't have any place that I thought was really home. And so when people would ask me where I was from, I'd kind of just, sometimes I'd say Hawaii. We just moved here from Hawaii, and sometimes I'd say I was from Sioux City, and sometimes from Mitchell, because I just didn't feel like I had, any place that was really home. One of the things when he got out of the Navy, it was important to us, is that we got to move back to the Midwest, because this was where our families were. And we were very fortunate that Raj was hired at the nuclear power plant in Juneau with Dairyland Power. It's been a great company to work for, and be a part of our family. The best part for us moving back was that we could spend holidays with our extended families, which we hadn't been able to do during the entire time that we were in the military. I say we. He was in the military. I was just holding down the fire at home. So then for this, I had to select both a button and a theme. And I decided to take it an extension of the generations and talk about celebrating family and friends. Because all these times with all the moves, we had a lot of people that were acquaintances, but you know you're not going to be there long, so the friendships don't really develop like they do. So when we were here, we were so grateful to finally be a place where we could settle down, raise our kids, and kind of grow in our family. What is important too for us is because our family, even though our families were from the Midwest, they were 4 and 7 hours away. So when important things in our lives happened, they may not have always been able to get there right away. And I've got 2 really good friends sitting down here that we met within the first few weeks. We've been friends for 40 years, Patsy and Jim Quick. When we were expecting our second child, Raj had to take our older son over to their house in the middle of the night so that they could watch him until my parents could get here. So I guess for us, family and friends have always kind of blended together. I can tell you that many of our friends are like family to us. Raj and I have been very lucky. Most of our days have been made of sunshine. However, like in everybody's life, there have been a couple of days of rain and a couple of big storms. And at those times, while the family was there when they can, it was our friends who got us through those really rough times. And the one thing I know is that when there's a need, when those friends come forward, they become your lifelines. And the words of encouragement and kind acts that people do for you, I know personally can heal you, can make you better. And so those things of just saying to somebody, gee, I hope you have a good day today, or it's so nice to see you, or whatever it is, can really make a difference in someone's life. I'll tell you a little bit about my button design. Because it is celebrating family and friends, I went to Flo, who's an excellent designer, and I said, Flo, here's what I want. My 2 favorite colors are red and purple, so I want it red and purple. I said I want it to be circles because in our lives, our family and our friends are the circles that surround us and help us. And I said I want it to be happy. Well, I didn't even know really what that meant myself. But I gave it to Flo, and I could see the wheels were spinning, you know, she's designing. And she came up, when she brought it to me, I said, that's exactly what I was thinking. How did you know that? So I want to thank Flo for designing my button. And as I said in the beginning, I used to, when people would ask me where I was from, I would say, you know, here, there, wherever. But by the way, what I can tell you is now when somebody asks me, I say, I'm from La Crosse, Wisconsin, and I'm proud of it. Thank you.
Well, how about we bring up our 2012 Festmaster, Brad Stern, to sing our first time Prosit in honor of our new Mrs. O.
The outgoing royal family wishes nothing but good things for our new Mrs. O. We ask that you let the magic of Oktoberfest wash over you, and that we ask that you talked about it being a ride. Indeed it is. Enjoy each and every moment of that ride. So if you would please join me, raise your glasses, or at least your thumbs anyway, and let's toast to our newest Mrs. Oktoberfest. Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit. 1, 2, 3, super! Hoi, hoi, hoi! Hoi, hoi, hoi! Prost! There we go. Yeah.
Now I would like to bring up our 2007 Mrs. Oktoberfest, Sue Schultz, for a very special presentation.
Gives me great pleasure to give this gift to Kenna. Al Lewis from Designing Jewelers designed a special ring for Mrs. Oktoberfest as a celebration of her year, and I'm going to present it to her right now. So, from Al Lewis. I didn't think I'd be proposing to anybody. I propose you have a great year. And I do want to thank, we've talked about Flo. Our program tonight was designed by Flo Alish. So I personally want to give her a big thank you.
Well, Kenna, I am going to ask you to make your way towards the reception line. I have a few final things that I'm going to say. We encourage all of you, she's going to make her way to the reception line, to greet her before you leave, receive her button, wear it proudly, it'll make you happy. And special thanks tonight to the Mrs. Oktoberfest Planning Committee for making tonight so special. Special acknowledgement going to Jennifer Keller, the board member liaison. So thank you to them. Also, meaningful thanks to Al Lewis and Designing Jewelers. And as Mrs. Oktoberfest, Kenna will receive many other very, very nice gifts from businesses, and they are listed on the back of your program. Please take a look at that list, and if you have the opportunity, help us in thanking them. And we especially thank this evening's sponsor, Mayo Health System. This portion of the evening, yes, please feel free. So this portion of the evening has come to a close. However, you can stay, you can mingle, make sure that you greet Kenna in the reception line. If you haven't signed the greeting sheets that I mentioned earlier, please do so, because they will be put into a scrapbook memento for Kenna that she will appreciate having, and she will love to know all of the people who attended this special night for her. And now to you, Kenna, we say congratulations. We hope you have a wonderful year. Your Grenadier General is going to escort you to the reception line for guests to greet you. And as he does, we're going to invite Crazy George and your Mrs. O 2008 Robin Tankey up to lead us in some Oktoberfest songs. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a great fest.
You've been watching the Mrs. Oktoberfest reception. Tonight's program has been brought to you by Interior Designs in Holman, by Ace of La Crosse and Ace Sportsland in the Shelby Mall, Mayo Health Systems, and by Cabin Coffee at 4th and J in downtown La Crosse.